Well, there's a lot going on. The entire area, which lies beneath the Grand Pump Room and was first opened to the public back in 1983, is being refurbished. And it's being refurbished by removing the public walkway that carries people across the Roman monument, slightly rerouting the path and installing a new walkway. Now, the difference between the old and the new walkway is that the new one will be entirely step-free. And this is part of a grander scheme that has been in progress for the last 7 years at the Roman Baths. One of the two main objectives of the Roman Baths development was to improve access to the site. And that's what this is doing. It's making possible unrestricted physical access for people who will be in wheelchairs or perhaps they're just a bit unsteady on their pins, so that they can get around the whole site. The work that's going on at the moment will complete at the end of April, and then in the autumn we will come back and complete it by inserting 2 platform lifts. And when those lifts go in, the circuit for the public throughout the Roman Baths will then be complete.
I think I'm right in saying that the new walkway will produce a better experience for everyone, whether they're walking on their own feet or in a wheelchair.
Well, it should do. It's going to be different in style to the existing one, which was made of timber and glass and had quite a heavy feel to it. The new walkway will be in metal, and it will also have a slatted floor so that you can see the monument beneath your feet. Now, if you're immediately thinking, oh gosh, is that going to be a bit frightening to walk over that? I think the answer is probably not, because there will be one band on which nervous people can walk. But our observation of seeing similar decks in lots of sites, not just in Britain but elsewhere in Europe, is that generally the public are pretty comfortable with them. So it should have a much lighter feel than the existing structure, be less intrusive.
Well, it does sound as though it's going to add to the experience. Now, in planning this new route, you're opening up new space for displays, and am I right in thinking that the Bow Street Hoard, which we now know is coming to Bath, will be incorporated as part of that new display area?
It won't be in the Temple Precinct, but it will be in an adjacent gallery. And we'll be following up with that great news about the arrival of the Bow Street Hoard by displaying that to the public next November. It takes a little while just to put things in motion. There's a little bit of bureaucracy to do first of all with ourselves and the Heritage Lottery Fund, but it is a project that runs to several £100,000 in value, and a substantial part of that will be committed towards putting the hoard on display and indeed helping to pay for these new access improvements, and it will in fact cover the cost of one of those 2 new platform lifts.
That's good to hear. While I've got you here, I've noticed in the past that the 2 sedan chairs that are normally on display in the assembly rooms have disappeared. In fact, they've been gone for a long time. Where are they and what's happening to them?
Yes, you're very observant to notice their disappearance. They're now in Keynsham, an unlikely place you may think, but they are safe and secure in a museum store in Keynsham, and they're being held there pending some conservation work being carried out. What had happened to them was that they had had a moth infestation. And we don't quite know how that had come about, but for objects on open display that are made of fabric or something like that, it's always a possibility. And so we had to quickly remove them from display last year. But we have now made the arrangements with the Wiltshire Conservation Service. They'll be doing the work, and we expect it to be finished by the end of May. The technique they're going to use is one that's based on oxygen starvation. The sedan chairs will be encapsulated, and with a vacuum we'll take out what we can, but then there will be the release of a chemical agent which will absorb any free oxygen in the atmosphere, and so any surviving bugs will be asphyxiated. It has to go on for about a month, this process, for it to be fully effective.
How do you stop it happening again, though?
Well, that's the tricky thing, because obviously if you just put it straight back into the same situation, there is a risk of reinfection. And we don't want to be trapped into a cycle whereby we're continually displaying and then having to take it off for treatment and so on. What we hope to do are some tests on the location to see if putting other equivalent food sources down may attract bugs, because if it does, it shows they're still present in the atmosphere or in the building there. In the end, with many museum objects, you are sometimes taking a risk in presenting them to the public, and the alternative is not to present them to the public. So sometimes you do just have to take a risk, and I think in these circumstances it's justified, because they are fantastic sedan chairs.
Are they the last two genuine sedan chairs remaining in Bath, or in the world as far as we know?
Oh no, there are others. In the Royal Mineral Water Hospital, they've got a little cracker. It's not very well known about, but they do have a collection there of medical equipment connected to them and so on. And it does include a fantastic leather-clad sedan chair. And of course you can also see one in number 1, the Royal Crescent.